Hi, I'm Faisal Siddiqui, an architect at CSC, and I'm here to talk about our exciting new API program. Join us on C3 for more details, and in the crowd chat March 4th, more details at the end of this video. See you soon.
Software systems are all different. Some of them are more different than others. Application programming interfaces, or APIs, allow software systems that are different to talk to each other or integrate with each other. And I wanted to talk about integration. We've been integrating software systems as long as we've had software systems. So how do we do a better job at it? The point is that integration always seems harder than it should. And we want to ask ourselves why. One reason is that getting software systems to talk to each other is usually assigned to really smart technicians, people like many of us in this session today. We expect them to be able to figure out stuff on their own rather than making the problem easier to solve for other people. So we don't bother to make integration easier. As a coder, I actually get this. I understand the complexity of the software and I expect other people to understand it as well, or expect people to be interested in it. And I eventually end up sharing the complexity of the internals of my software system. Uh, Whereas really most people, including other developers, only need to know at a very high level things like this. So not the internals, but really just the abstraction points. If I abstract away unnecessary complexity, I should need much less instruction and much less effort for doing the integration. This is an introduction to web APIs, really, and web APIs are one way to make this kind of abstraction and simplicity practical. So let's talk about the web. The web, as we know it, is a massively scalable distributed software system that we know works really, really well. APIs share many of the same characteristics, or at least could, of websites, and therefore can be made to behave like websites. This is where we get into the concept of REST. The rationale for REST APIs is that we can leverage the architecture underlying the web to build integrated systems much more easily and more effectively. Let me take a really simple analogy. Uh, any websites that you take a look at will be pretty self-explanatory. You don't need much training for them. You don't need any instruction. There's a Google homepage. You fill out a form, click a button. There's a bunch of hyperlinks over here. Now, what happens if I got rid of the hyperlinks? The web all of a sudden would become much dramatically less useful. And in fact, that's what happens. This is how we do integration today. We typically don't think of any kind of hyperlinks within the integration medium. What we end up doing is, if I were to take the website analogy a little bit further, I would tell my users to keep track of all the links associated with my website, possibly using the bookmark feature of the web browser. This is actually how we do integration. Even though it sounds silly to do with a website, this is precisely what we do when we publish integration documents for things like SOAP. Integration without REST relies on this type of external information that we think of as being out-of-band information. And out-of-band information makes sense if we are ready to accept the complexity, but if we're not, then there's an alternative based on the web. So by now you realize that although APIs are a highly technical topic and REST is a highly technical topic, I'm really making a business case first. In fact, many of us find ourselves first needing to articulate a strong case for developing REST APIs at the enterprise level. We have to make that case to ourselves, to management, to customers, and various other stakeholders. The picture that we see here is really compelling for me. The idea is very simple. It's impossible to include all the possible features in our software system. So what we do is we focus on a narrow set of features, the functionality, and we go selling it. This makes pretty good sense to begin with, but we ignored the opportunities made of in neglected or less used capabilities, which we think of as the long tail. APIs offer a way to harness and potentially monetize this long tail of functionality that we leave locked into the enterprise system and essentially are leaving money on the table with. So what have we been doing with the CSC API program? Well, we made progress. We've answered questions about to ourselves and to others about what an API is, what values they offer, how it's different from SOAP. And then we get into how do we design APIs? How do we secure them? How do we actually implement and execute and run them in the enterprise? We invite you to join us for these ongoing updates on C3 in the API program group, and join us in the crowd chat March 4th, 2015, and you would have received a separate invitation for that. Thank you.